What's up, guys? I'm Marcus Deegan, and you're watching the Brad Tavares Show.
The Marcus Deegan Show. What's the story, guys? Welcome to another episode of the pod. This is Marcus Deegan, your host, shooting from Sin City, Nevada, right next door to the Apex, so it's pretty cool. All the fighters go over there and punch each other's heads in, and then they come over here and have a little bit of a chat. Thanks for joining once again. Like, share, and subscribe. Listen to the YouTube channel. We're trying to build it up. We're killing it on Spotify. We're killing it on social media. I'm just trying to build up this YouTube channel, and it kind of offends me that you guys want to listen to me, but you don't want to look at me. What is it with that? What is it with that? Anyway, I've got another great guest on the show today. And the good thing about my job is that I get to talk to my favorite fighters. This guy's a fucking Hawaiian badass that's been in more knuckle ups than most. He's been around since 2010. He's had some knocks, he's had some downs, he's had some ups, but he's always fighting. He's a dad, he's a prankster, he's a Hawaiian, and he's in the studio today. Welcome to the show, Marcus Deegan. Oh, sorry, Brad Tavares. What's up, bro?
What's up, guys? Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, thanks for coming in. We have a mutual friend, my old next-door neighbor knows you, and she kind of messaged me and said, hey, why don't you get Tavares on the show? I'm like, you know what, I'm going to reach out to him, so I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, of course.
You know a lot of Hawaiians here in Las Vegas. Is there a big Hawaiian community?
Huge. They call it the ninth island. So Hawaii is made up of 8 primary islands, and then they call Vegas the ninth island.
Really?
Yeah. And it's crazy. So before, like right now, I think back in the day, they were, even before people really started like migrating here, they were calling it the ninth island just because of how many people would come visit. Like there was people from Hawaii just year round, just on planes, boom, back. They stay, they have all these like vacation Hawaii type tours and yada, yada. But then now, especially with, you know, like inflation and everything, cost of living and how expensive it is to live in Hawaii, a lot of Hawaiians live here. I think it was some crazy stat, and I don't know the stat specifically, but it was something crazy, like X amount of Hawaiians are moving here per day.
It's crazy because when you think about two completely polar opposite environments, Hawaii and Nevada, I mean, you couldn't get more black and white.
Yeah.
What is it that makes people want to leave the beach to come to the dry, one of the driest places on earth?
So I would say that for the most part, it's the cost of living. You know, cost of living here is much, and granted here it's gone up as well, but it's still doesn't even come close to what it's like living in Hawaii. Yeah. Hawaii is crazy expensive. You know, there's this saying, you got to pay to live in paradise, and that's the truth. And it's pretty sad, you know. Like I wish it wasn't so expensive, so where people didn't have to leave and feel like they had to leave. Me myself, I left because I needed to come here to Vegas. At the time when I came back in 2009, Vegas was and still is, in my opinion, the fighting, the mecca, you know. But especially at that time, 09, 10, there wasn't a lot of gyms and big gyms. It's not like what it is now. Like now you can pretty much go anywhere, and even in small gyms, and it's not hard to find a UFC fighter in those gyms. Back in the day when I started coming up, it was very hard. You had like a few main gyms. Extreme Couture was one of them.
Yep.
You had AKA, Jackson's, and American Top Team. And
that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Syndicate came a little bit later on after that.
Yeah, well, Syndicate has actually been around. They went through a bunch of different like name changes. They were Throwdown back in the day, and then they changed to Warrior, and then finally to Syndicate. So they've been around. They've been around. But yeah, as far as like, you know, like big top gyms, like it was crazy when I first came here. Man, the who's who was at Randy's. You know, he was there. You know, he was still competing, the champion. Before Vanderlei opened his gym, he was at Couture's. Akiyama was there, Matt Brown, Tyron Woodley, Chandler, I remember being there. Just really the who's who. And plus all of our guys, Jay Huron, Martin Catman, Evan Dunham, Tyson Griffin, like the list goes on. It was, our gym was, you know, packed. And again, like myself, you know, our gym, we went through ups and downs, and over the last couple of years, we've been on the up. You know, our gym is packed. We got some top level guys we've had in the past few years. We've had a few champions: Misha, Francis, current middleweight champion Sean. Yeah, so it's going good.
So I talk to a lot of these young fighters. So first of all, would you consider yourself a veteran?
Oh yeah, for sure not. And it's weird, you know, when that happened, because I remember being. Sorry, let me.
No, you're good, bro. You're good.
Let me
this ain't live.
silence
You're good.
this. So I remember being, when I first started, I was 18, 19, 20, 21, those years. And I remember like, like I've never been one to toot my own horn, but I had people that were older, anywhere from 5 to 10 years older, that I would train with. And they would always ask me like, oh, how old are you? And I'll tell them like, oh, I'm like 19, 20. And they would just trip like, what? Like, oh, you're a young boy, this and that. Wait till you get older, blah, 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 blah. And then now, fast forward, like, I'm their age, the age that they were, and I'm one of the more veteran, if not the most veteran guy on the mats. And I see these younger guys coming up, and I'm, the roles have reversed now. Like, now I'm helping them, coaching them up, giving them advice, trying to help, push them. And
Isn't that weird, bro? I'm gonna take this fucking. Isn't that weird how life goes, right? Like you're kind of. I don't want to say finishing, but the circle of life is that where you started and to where these guys were taking care of you. Now it's going all the way around.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird how that happens in life, man?
Yeah, for sure.
You've been around for a long time, and you have fought. Like when it comes to your resume of people that you've fought, like you don't get many tougher than the guys that you fought. Who's been your greatest inspiration in the sport? I know your grandfather is your greatest inspiration, and we'll get into that why. But as far as like athlete wise, and it could even be in your favorite football team as well.
I would say like for me on like a personal level, I would say the people in my fighting career that have like really pushed me and inspired me to be where I am today. Two people immediately come to mind. The first, because I knew him first, and he helped me start my career, Brandon Wolf. He was my old coach, like a big brother to me. He really helped kind of point me in the right direction, came up with a plan for like what I should do. Like he's the reason why I moved to Vegas. And again, without him, I would not be where I am today. And then the next person who, in the next chapter of my life when I came here, that I met and we've been together forever is Ray Seffel, legend of the just combat sports. And just seeing like what was crazy is when I first came here, so that was 2009, me and one of my best friends, Russell, we were on PS2 and we used to play the K1 game, and our favorite guy to fight with was always Ray Seffel. So we would be Ray Seffel versus Ray Seffel, overhands, just trying to knock each other out. And then I came to Vegas, and freaking, it was a Saturday at the old Tap Out gym. Walk into the gym, it's sparring, and here in walks Ray Seffel. And I was just like, damn. I just was playing with this guy on a video game. He walks in, and he's like, oh, you want a round? I was like, hell yeah. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm most likely going to get knocked out right now, but I don't give a fuck. This is worth it. Like, this is like stuff dreams are made of, And dude, Ray is probably the most, I would say, hands down, the most controlled person that I've ever like trained with. And that being said, is not that like, what he's capable of. He could he hits like a truck. His timing and speed, and even at this age, is just impeccable. And he's still so controlled. But yeah, I remember that day like it was yesterday. And that was something pretty cool to me. And so we started training together, working together, and we've been together ever since. And he's been one of those guys that I really look up to, the way he's handled things in his career, both in and outside of the cage or in the ring. One of those that I really look up to.
It's cool, man, because you guys are like the 1%ers, right? There's not many people on earth that do what you guys do for a living. And you guys have one of the only real professions that you can look up to someone, idolize them, learn from them, and then in one phone call, you can be in that same gym training with that person, talking to them, learning from them, and them learning from you.
Yep.
A lot of fighters that I talk to always talk about that experience. Oh, fuck, I used to just look up to whoever it was, and then the next thing you know, I'm training with them in the gym, and I got a great takedown. And I suppose being in that environment is very essential to being in the top level of what you do, right? Being in the environment of legends and fucking killers, you have to do it. You couldn't just be in the mum's back gym in Boise, Idaho, right? You got to be.
It's like, I mean, people can do it, and I think people have done it. let's look at Max Holloway, for instance.
Right.
You know, Max never left Hawaii. Like most of us, we had to. He made it happen. He became one of the top fighters ever. You know, multiple world champion, and he's still doing it. And he never left, you know, and he didn't have to. So not necessarily, but this is one thing that I always tell the younger guys, and it goes for both fighting and their regular life, is surround yourself with like-minded people, you know, like people that are on the same path as you. Because you don't want to be this person that is highly motivated to train and dedicate your life to fighting, because it takes a lot. But then everybody you're hanging out with wants to party, wants to sleep throughout the day because they were out all night last night. Then they wake up, they want to do it again. You know, that's hard. You know, you want to be around people that are pushing you in the same direction that you're trying to go, which is up. You know, to further yourself, to better yourself, to accomplish the goals that you're trying to accomplish, which ultimately every fighter wants to be in the UFC.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to cut people loose like that. And I suppose with maturity and as the more you move on in your career, you get to see who these stragglers, no-hopers and wannabes and maybe people that are a little bit disruptive to what you want to do. So that's good advice. You can't have, everyone's got to be on the same kind of path as you, right?
Yeah.
Thought-wise. And I like what you said about Ray Sefo, how he was so controlled, which just comes down to, once again, that the mind far exceeds. And I'm fascinated by that, especially with fighters, how your mind control is just so important in what you guys do, like even more important than the physical. Would you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. I would say it's 90% mental and 10% physical. Like the physical has to be there, but it's your mind that pushes you to do that.
A lot of fighters suffer from mental health issues as well. How do you maintain a strong mindset with mental health issues?
I would say, you know what, like for me, I'm blessed. I think growing up in Hawaii, I mean, obviously there are people that deal with depression, anxiety, and that type of things. But I don't know, growing up in Hawaii is just kind of different. Like that's not like something we really like harp on.
Yeah.
But also it's good to know, because in case you do see, because, you know, along the years, I've had friends that have taken their lives, you know, and it breaks my heart to know that, like, damn, they're going through something that we didn't know about. And it sucks to know, like, you know, like whatever they need, I would have been there for them. So yeah, the mental health part is super, super important. But, you know, I just feel like I am blessed.
Pretty strong-minded?
Strong-minded.
Never had an issue with drugs or alcohol?
Nah, never.
Because I know that's rampant in Hawaii too. There's a lot of meth over there.
Ice, yep.
A lot of ice over. Still ice.
Ice.
And you never went that direction. You were always an athlete. Were you always an athlete? Always loved sports.
Yep. And
always kept fit, worked out.
Yeah. I wouldn't say always, because I went through, like, when I was playing football, I was 240 pounds, which was what got me into, like, fighting. Is because, so when I came back from college, I was 240, and I was like, damn, I'm not the type of person that can just go to the gym and jump on a treadmill. Back then, anyway. I was like, I need something, a sport, something fun to do. So I was like, I'm going to start training. And I've always loved fighting. I mean, I got into fighting by fighting in Hawaii. So I've loved it.
Like on the football field and in the streets?
Yes, yeah. Like, that's how we used to settle things back then. We used to fight and shake hands. Like, some of my closest friends we became close because we fought each other. And we shook hands after that. And then we were boys after that. Like, you just gain this respect for each other.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, so back to, you know, the mental health thing is, like, for me, I think it's because, like, I'm lucky, I'm blessed. I come from a good family. I had that family support, you know, loving parents. My mom, very loving to me. So I didn't have to deal with a lot of that. And then on top of that, like, my faith, like, you know, like, I wasn't, like, growing up, like, I've always been a believer of Jesus and God. But growing up, my mom, we never, like, really went to church and stuff, but I always did believe, like, so I kind of had a moral compass a little bit. And now more so, I'm way more, you know, like, I take my kids to church every weekend, because I want them to have that, you know, like, I want them to think,
you have to have that.
Yeah, like, I want them to know, like, even though no human is looking, like, God is always watching you, you know, like, so to try to do the right thing. And I made many mistakes growing up and done many things wrong, but, you know, for the most part, I stayed pretty much on the straight and narrow. Could have been again, I could have went left real easily. Like when I was in my like 18, 19, 20 years, like I said, I used to love fighting. And Brandon Wolf, he was one of the ones that, you know, like really helped me, put me on the straight and narrow, like, and been like, bro, look, you can take this talent and make something of it, or you can be a punk, a loser, and you go out, get into a fight, accidentally knock somebody out, they hit their head on the concrete, they die, they go into a coma. Happened to my cousin. Went out, got into a fight.
Your cousin?
It didn't. He went to prison because he went out, got into a fight, like something that would happen on a Saturday night. But he hits this guy falls back, hits his head, goes into a coma. And, you know, I was like, thinking about that, I was like, damn, that could have easily been me. Like, you don't realize when you're young how dangerous it is. Like,
and that's good that you say that. And do me a favor. There's a lot of young kids that look up to you, right? There's a lot of young kids in Hawaii or whatever. To tell them on that camera right there, why you don't.
this one, huh?
This one right here.
This one right here. Why you don't fucking hit people? Why you don't hit people while you're out? Can you tell them, Brad? Because a lot of these kids are fucking sucker punching people in the street.
Oh yeah, the sucker punching thing. So in Hawaii, we call that a false crack. Like anytime you fall somebody, you're a pussy. Nobody has respect for you. You shouldn't have respect for yourself. If it's a up and up agreed to fight, you know, like a lot of times when we fought growing up, it took place at a park on the grass, which is probably the safest place. But yeah, you cannot be just walking up to people, side blind, false crack, you know, sucker punching people because of that. Like, look at what's around you. Like anything in here, if I was to hit somebody with them not expecting it, or even if they expected it, I hit them, they knock out, they hit their head on something, break their neck, crack their skull open, you know, like
lights over fucking what?
Yeah, exactly.
You bunch of your dickhead mates that are sitting around trying to challenge you on to do it.
Yep.
People don't realize that once you get through that dickhead era of your life, 16 or 15 to, I was a dickhead right up until I was 35. But you know what I mean? Once you get through that dickhead era, and if you can make it through that, you know, you listen to what he says. He does it for a living. There's nothing impressive about sucker punching and punching people. And I like what you said about your faith in God. When a lot of people say to me, why do you believe in God? Well, because it gives you a moral compass.
Yeah. Because
without God, there is no, you can be a heathen, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I really like how you said that. Your kids I see your Instagram and you've got this amazing little recently turned 6-year-old girl. And I remember looking at one video. It was really funny. I watched it like 3 or 4 times. And she's in the back seat and you go, where are we going, darling? And then she comes up and she goes, I'm going to go smash someone.
Yeah.
And then I saw her skills on the mat. Have you been teaching her that? And do you think that every parent should get their child into some kind of combat sports?
Yeah, 100%. I think that kids, the thing I love about martial arts is, let's rewind it back to how it started. You know, it's all about discipline, you know, and like granted, like let's say jiu-jitsu, for example, they don't really teach you traditionally like in karate or taekwondo or whatever, like that old school traditional martial arts of like they really hammer in discipline, but they're learning the discipline of being consistent, showing up on time, listening to their coach, being you know, like listening to instruction. That's discipline. Like if I show you this and then you go out and do it, you know, there's discipline there. So like even regardless of the actual like, oh, discipline, listen, do this, they're learning it, and there's discipline there. You know, it's teaching them, and then on top of that, it's teaching them self-defense. You know, like the world is going to shit, so everybody needs to know how to defend themselves. You know, so I love that my daughter, you know,
and she's good too.
She loves it, dude.
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right?
No, so what is crazy is I was just watching her at practice yesterday, and I texted her mom. I was like, dude, Zaya is on fire today. Like I don't even know what it was. I'll watch her some days, and you know, like I think it's because we just did a jiu-jitsu tournament and she won 2 golds. She smashed all these little boys, and she went 6-0 on the day, and she got 2 gold medals, and it really like fired her up. But I don't know, she hit a stride. Like I was watching her yesterday, like I was like, she was doing things that nobody, like I tell her things, but I'm not really ever taking the time to necessarily show her. Like I watched her shoot in for a double leg yesterday, and then she got stuffed a little bit and she cut the corner, and I was like, damn. I even hit my friend with, you know, his daughter's doing jiu-jitsu. I was like, bro, I was like, you see that? I was like, I didn't even know she knows how to do that. You know, like, so these kids amaze me, man. Like,
There's a reality show right there. Let's get all the top fighters from the UFC that have kids that are around 6 years old, put them in camp, and get them to smash each other. No, man, I love that you do that with your daughter, and she's very cute. And you got another little one that's another little mini. She's
gonna be, she's like, it's crazy because everybody told us like, oh, the second kid.
yeah,
The second
yeah.
kid.
I was gonna say,
Bro, the second kid, that's real. Like, she is wild, like naturally just wild, stubborn, like freaking naughty. I tell her all the time, like I would whoop your butt if you was a little boy. You know, you're lucky you're a girl. She didn't even understand really, but yeah, we're definitely, as soon as like at our gym, they have like a little minis program for kids that are 3 years old to 6 years old. So as soon as she turns 3, I'm gonna get her in there, you know, and start get her in a gi and, you know, start doing stuff, because she'll probably be like
tougher than the other one.
yeah, for sure.
It's funny. Like you're in a household full of women, mate. It's gonna get harder as the years go on. Are you dressing in any tutus or anything like that to?
Oh, if my daughter like
To
if
paint
she,
your nails or something like
yeah,
that?
I don't care, whatever she wants to, like the hair. She chose it. You know what I mean? Like
Right. I was going to ask you what.
Good job, daughter. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
yeah. So like people ask me all
Did
the
she
time,
like it?
Oh, she loves it. She wanted me to do it, and then when I picked her up from school, she seen it. She was all stoked. She was like, "Daddy, I love it," cause like maybe about a year or two ago, when J-Roy was dyeing my hair, we were doing back to back like all kinds of stuff. We did like regular cheetah print with just blonde.
You done the soccer ball yet?
Regular. No soccer.
You know the
ball.
black and white so it looks like a soccer ball.
No, never that. Then we would just do a bunch of colors. Like one, I'll do it pink, and then I did like a teal green, and then we did like a freaking cotton candy with pink, purple, blue, like, and it's all stuff like, you know, my daughter loves, like, Daddy, I want you to make your hair like this or like that, and I'm like, yeah.
Does she know who you are?
Well, what do you mean?
Like athletically, does she know? Like maybe a bit. 6 is a little young, but has she ever seen any of your fights or anything?
Oh yeah, she watches.
She likes it.
She watches. Yeah, she does. She cheers. Like, it's funny because my wife will like videotape her, and then like after the fight, obviously I'll get to see it, and like she's like so into it, you know, cheering and stuff.
How's that feel?
I love it, you know, like the support. But then it's also kind of scary. Like, I'm like, it gives me a little bit extra motivation. Like, I better not get my ass whooped, because then my daughter's gonna see that.
Yeah, she's gonna walk through the door and she's gonna be like,
Yeah.
So it's got to be hard, man. Like, just to turn the corner a little bit on the subject. Why aren't we hearing any more about Hawaii? Why has the conversation about Hawaii just stopped? Why? Because Ukraine's now stopped. So what is the new thing? Israel and Palestine. Why aren't we hearing any more about Hawaii? It's bullshit, and I know that that's got to be difficult for you, bro.
Bro, I think, I mean, if you paid attention, if anybody's paid attention to anything and seen what happened throughout COVID, it's like, you know, like the media will take what they want to take and run with it, and really like gear it towards whatever they fucking want.
Absolutely.
And it's like I feel for the people outside of our country, you know, that are going through the shit they're going through, Israel, Palestine, Ukraine, and all of that. But it's like, what irritated me like off the rip is like and I forget the exact numbers, but I remember like when it first happened, Biden was like, oh, we're gonna allocate
$700.
X amount of dollars, $1 million, but we're gonna give whatever 100 million or $1 billion to Ukraine. I'm like, bro, take care of your fucking people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's some people in Hawaii that even voted for you. Not me, but
Not me.
not me, but I'm sure there are. Like, take care of home first. And dude, the people in Hawaii, they're still going through it. Like, this, what happened to them? This is not gonna be no like.
Oh, it's forever.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be 10. Yeah, the effects of it will live with them forever for sure. But even just rebuilding that community, like, it's gonna be 10, 15 years, if not more.
So there's a lot of conspiracy theories that are flying around about, obviously, the real estate, who owns real estate in Hawaii, in that particular area. whose property didn't get affected by the fire? Why is Oprah and The Rock on TV begging for money from the general public when they have more money than any of us will ever have?
Yeah.
Do you look into the conspiracy theories? Do you look into the purposefully started because of land? Do you believe in all that?
I don't know them like specifically, but do I believe that there was more to it, something behind it? 100%.
Without the sirens going off, with everyone
Yeah.
getting blocked in,
Yeah.
with the state of the cars being completely burnt, that I heard somewhere that fires, even at their top intensity, can't burn metal like that.
Yeah, so I it's funny because one of my friends who lives in Maui, he just was recently up here. He came up for the Giants game, so we went to the game together. And he works back home. He's a correction officer on Maui, and luckily he lives down in Kihei, so he wasn't affected by the fires. But I had asked him, I was like, oh, like being that, you're there, ground zero, you've seen all of it, like, what is your thoughts on it? And then, because there was videos, they did show videos of, because it said the fire started with the power lines, and there are videos that show it. And then it kind of like starting up, and then the winds did not help the situation. So I asked him, I was like, what is like your thoughts on it? He was like, you know what, honestly, like the fires probably started from exactly that, like a natural situation, and the winds whipping like just fucking made it devastating. But he was saying, he was like, then all the rest of the shit though, because there was fires going on all over the place. He was like, I think that's what affected everybody from just fully responding to Lahaina and, kind of getting it under control. And then you end up losing a whole fucking town. But a lot of crazy shit happened. All the schools, the Lahaina schools, they're not in session. Like all kind of crazy things. Water's cut off and sirens don't go, and like,
What's going on, man?
yeah.
What's going on in the world, bro?
It's crazy.
You got to be scared for your family.
No, that's why, like, it's the world is like, to me, is getting crazier and crazier, which is why, like I preach freaking like the self-defense, and I talk to my daughter all the time. In fact, just today, because she was asking me, so she's learning how to read, right? So she starts reading like billboards, and so we passed one, said book now, and then she loves synonyms, I think they're called, right? Like 2 different meanings for the same word. So she's like, oh, daddy, like book, like I read a book, and book, like book your flight or book your car or whatever. So then she was asking me like, oh, how do you, like, what does that mean? Like book it, how do you book it? So I explained to her like, oh, you can do it online or on the phone. And then, so she was like I had her memorize our address and my phone number in case.
She memorized it?
Yeah, she memorizes it. So in case, like, she ever gets lost. But then I had to go and tell her, like, hey, don't you ever give this information to anybody. Like, if you're ever playing a game online and somebody's asking, or if somebody asks you, you say, I got to ask daddy first. I said, the only time that you give this information to somebody is if you're lost and you're trying to find me and they're trying to help you find me. But if anybody ever asks you, you say, no, I got to ask my mommy or my daddy first. Like, it's sad.
She's smart like that too, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of fucked up when you've got to kind of like, where you just literally cannot take your eyes off your kids anymore. You literally, in 1 second, they can be gone.
Yep.
And with everything that's going on in the world right now, it's pretty damn scary. Like, even biblically, things that have been prophesized, thousands of years ago are literally starting to come into fruition right now. It's very, very, I mean, if you're not God-fearing, you should be. Because, fucking hell is like the border. They're fucking letting everyone in. Everyone. So I don't like to talk too much about religion because it's, as you know, it's a personal thing. People don't like to hear people preach, but as people that are God-fearing, it's our job to let people know, listen, man, you need to you need to believe in Jesus, because when shit fucking, when everything goes south, if you don't, you're going even further south.
You know what it is? And I feel like I just recently seen him say this, and I feel like it was well put. Mark Wahlberg, he talked about his faith, he's like, I'm never gonna hide it. and I'm never gonna like not be who I am. Am I ever gonna try and push it on you? No, not really. Like he's like, I have friends that are from all different backgrounds, cultures, and faiths, and I respect all of them. You know, like I would never try to like push mine on them. But I am a proud Christian or whatever he said, and you know, like I'm not gonna hide that, and I love that. I was like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like it's you know, it's one of those things. Like I'll always invite people to church, like even if they're non-believers, I'll be like, oh, just come. Like especially the church that we go to, like it's super. Like I think that's why I
A bit more relaxed. It's got music and stuff like that.
Huh?
Has it got music and stuff? Is it a bit more relaxed, your church?
Yeah, real relaxed. It's the
Yeah.
Crossing. It's close to here, but it's you know, we got faith and worship in the beginning. Praise and worship in the beginning, and then the message. But it's really like their slogan is like, you know, come as you are. Like, you know, God accepts everybody. So I love inviting people, and I've invited a bunch of people, and some of those people became consistent, you know, and they're every week now. And some of these people that I've invited have not come from like a really religious background or not, you know, like really sure either way. And I'm like, look, I'm not gonna push anything on you. Like I would love for you to come, and if you like it, come again.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And it's not about pushing anything onto you. It's about us being fearful for your salvation, right? I want everyone to be where we're going to go. Yeah, I really like. Do you get a physical feeling when you talk to God? Do you physically feel something inside you when you pray or when you go to church, or, for instance, if you think about God or what what Jesus did? Do you physically feel something?
Not always, but a lot of times, yes.
Of course, not always.
Yep,
but
not always, and then a lot of times, yes. And then I always just feel like, okay, the Holy Spirit is with me.
I was going to say, you know what that is, right?
Yeah.
You can feel it. And that's when people say, well, I don't get anything. Well, you actually can feel it. It's a physical feeling that whether it's tears in the eyes, butterflies in the stomach, maybe sweaty palms a little bit, or just I feel it like I always say it's like it's coming off me like I don't want to say electricity, but it's bizarre. I really feel it.
Like an energy, maybe.
Yeah, like some kind of like you said, like the Holy Spirit.
Yep.
Do you ever go on MMA podcasts and talk about Christ and the Lord and God?
No, not too much.
Yeah,
but it's where we are.
They want to publicize all this satanic bullshit, whether it's on TV or whether it's music. But then when it comes to talking about the Lord, people kind of it's like looked down upon, especially Christianity.
Yeah, so it's funny because this series that we're in at my church is talking about the book of Daniel, but it's basically like, how do you keep your faith in a faithless culture? Because that's where our culture is headed. You know, like I feel like people are straying away from it, and like it's almost like they're pushing the opposite,
Well, that's what it says in the Bible, where sin will become normal and people won't even know that they're sinning.
But yeah, it's crazy to me. But I think everything, especially because I'm a parent, has like become more real to me. Like before, I never cared if anybody's doing anything that doesn't harm or hurt anybody or directly affect me, I could care less what you're doing. Do what you want to do, whatever makes you happy. But now that I got kids and they're starting to put things that in like schools and stuff, which, like I send my girls to, or my younger one is not even in school yet, but she will get there. So my older one, she's in private school, and they're, like they kind of align with like my like values and beliefs. So
none of this transgender stuff.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about it too much. But it's the fact that they try to like put it on kids. I'm like, dude, like why does a kid need to know about these things? And like I see it like in certain places, they like fucking change words.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you gotta call this person person born with eggs and person born with sperm. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's the devil's way of the innocent, of like trying to change the most godly thing on earth, which is a child, right?
Yeah.
No sin, complete innocence, love, openness. There's nothing more. That's why the devil always attacks the kids, is because they're the closest to God. Yeah. That's kind of my belief anyway. But I appreciate you being so open about that, man. A lot of people feel a little uncomfortable when I Like I like to go down those different pathways. Like I love talking about fighting and stuff, but I'd rather hear about your kids and your daughter and your faith and your fears. Do you have any fears? I mean, obviously your kids, something happening to one of your kids, but do you have any fears as a man?
That's my biggest fear is anything happening to my family. And now like before, I'm sure you've experienced this being a man, like you felt like in times in life, like, oh, I'm not scared of nothing, not afraid of death or anything. And now I'm super afraid of that because I feel like if I leave this place, then who's going to take care of my kids? Who's going to protect them? So yeah, all my fears, like I'm not afraid of anything
physically or any man or anything like the cops or taking too many mushrooms or some kava. Or
I don't even take mushrooms, so nothing like that. I barely even drink anymore ever since we got pregnant with my first daughter, because I'm not like a fucking terrible drunk or anything, but when I look back, like a lot of dumb shit I've done has been because I was drinking. Yeah. So I'm like, I'll just eliminate that altogether.
I drink the non-alcoholic Coronas now. Fucking badass.
I fucking hate beer, so that.
Oh, you're not a beer drinker?
Nah.
Yeah.
So now when I do drink, occasionally I'll just drink wine. Like my girl took me out to Napa back in the day, because prior to I hated wine. I didn't know anything about it, and we went to Napa, and man, they opened up my brain to like
red
where
wines
where it comes from, and like pair it with this and that, and like I was like, oh, this is actually fucking kind of cool. But I'm terrible. Like I don't got a good palate like that. She does. Like she can fucking smell and taste these things, and I'm like, smells like wine.
Yeah.
And she's like people ask me like, oh, what notes are you tasting? I'm like, tastes good or doesn't taste good. That's about it for me.
That's fucking strange.
I kind of fucking taste that it came out of a oak barrel and none of that
me
shit.
Either. Me, that's when my girl got COVID, she lost her smell and taste for two and a half years. She recently just got it back, just recently, and it came back slowly. Like certain things wouldn't taste like they normally tasted, and she couldn't.
That fucking sucks.
2.5 years, bro, no tasting or smelling, and still cooked for me every night. Not being able to smell it or she'd be like, babe, taste that. Is there too much salt? I'd be like, no, it's good. Yeah, fucking COVID, eh?
Bro, during COVID, when I first got it, the first time I got it, I was like, dude, I mean, granted, I do know that people, and I know, like, personally know people that have died from it, right? Like, it's like any new sickness. But I was like, bro, this is fucking fake. Like, I've had colds that have been worse than this. The only difference was, like, about 2-3 days in,
you couldn't taste anything.
No, I still could, but it got real dull. And I was like, no. Because, like, my girl would bring me down food and just leave it at the door. And then, like, okay, your food is there. And then I was eating and I was like, oh, like, no, I can't taste it. And then luckily that only lasted 2 to 3 days.
Imagine 2 years not being able to taste. Because I know you love your food.
I love food.
I know you.
I love food.
I know you do. I can tell.
Fuck with me.
Oh, bro, imagine that. My poor missus, and you know what? She never fucking complained about it.
That's a fear of mine, losing my taste.
Not being able to taste your food.
Yeah, actually, no. Now that I think about it, so like in Hawaii, like I don't know if you ever heard of ciguataria. It's this thing that fish have.
Nah.
So like I don't know how the fuck they get it or whatever, but it's usually like predatory fish that like eat other fish, but they can get this sickness called ciguataria. And if you eat a fish infected with that, you can get sig. And then knock on wood, I've never had it.
And what does it do to you if you get it?
Like you cannot eat fish. Like fish makes you sick.
Forever?
Like you I don't know how long it lasts or whatever. But it make you puke and shit. And I love fish. Growing up on an island, fucking fishing and diving. I love fish, especially like raw fish.
What about kinners?
What is that?
Like a sea urchin.
Oh, nah, I don't really care for that.
It's more of a Maori, New Zealander thing.
Like kind of like uni.
Yeah. It's like soggy. Yeah. They take it straight out of the shell and eat it straight out of the water.
Nah, I don't like that.
No,
in Hawaii we get opihis, which is like what is it, like mussels, and you eat that straight off the rock.
Yeah,
you peel them off the rock, shell it, can eat it alive. You know what I mean?
So
I love.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was like, that's a fear. Like every time we go diving and I shoot something that, might have sig, I'm always like, please God.
How can you tell if they've got it?
So
Are they
you
all like?
can- Nah, so you can take them. I've heard like you can test them. Some like, but fuck, people don't want to do that.
So you spearfish
Yeah,
with
Yeah.
snorkel and mask, or with snorkel and mask, right?
People that scuba and shoot fish are pussies.
Ooh, really? Okay, I like this. This is a side of you that we don't know. People that scuba and shoot fish are pussies.
Yeah.
You gotta take a big breath and go down and do
Exactly.
it.
Yeah,
Right?
hold your
With just some
breath.
flippers and a mask.
Yeah. Well, nah, you got your dive suit on, weight belt. You know, you got gear. But yeah, no breathing gear.
Right.
Nothing to help you breathe. Like, bro, that's fucking cheating.
Yeah.
You just go down there, hold your breath. Dude, fish are curious. You stay down there and you just wait. And then eventually, like, they'll be scared of you. Wait there long enough, they'll fucking swim right up to you.
What's the secret of being able to hold your breath for that long? Practice?
Practice and then breathing exercises. One of my boys out there, you might know him, Maki Pitolo. He fought in the UFC, short stint. He's an MMA fighter from Hawaii, but he runs it's called Deep End Fitness. So DEF Vegas, and they do like these pool workouts, but also like everything with being in the water is about staying calm, staying relaxed, and then their thing is called zeroing out. You know, so like he'll start you in the warm up with breath holds. So the first breath hold, and this is just at the side of the pool, being completely relaxed. The first one is 15 seconds. So you just dunk your head in water for 15 seconds, time, come back up. Then you breathe for 15 seconds, then 30 seconds. So you put your head in for 30, then you come up, you breathe for 30 seconds, then a minute. Put your head in for a minute, then you come up, you breathe for a minute. And then the last one is 2 minutes. And then, yeah, not everybody can do it, but
Yeah.
but it's
What's
really,
the world record? It's like 8 minutes or something, isn't it?
Oh, something fucking crazy. That would scare me.
Those guys that sink all the way.
All the way
They hold
down.
those weights and go all the way
Well,
down.
no, they don't even hold the weight. So a lot of them will just have fins on or like a mono fin, and they'll clip to a line that goes all the way down. And then, because once you get to a certain point, you just basically free fall.
Really?
Like, yeah. Like once you get down deep enough, like you just sink.
Yeah. So when I was talking to Puna, he never surfed. I don't think Dan Ige really surfed too much either. Did you surf a lot, or was
So
you were mainly diving, right?
Yeah. So I'm looking for the flat water.
Yeah.
But when I was growing up, like especially in high school, we used to bodyboard a lot, spongers.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I was always more so into diving.
Yeah. Where you're from is very, very similar to where I'm from in Australia. I'm from the Gold Coast, which is in Queensland, which is like a tropical part of Australia where the Great Barrier Reef is. And it really reminded me a lot of Hawaii when I went there. So I'm huge on seafood as well.
Yeah.
Fucking, I love my shrimp. Well, we call them prawns in Australia.
Yeah.
A shrimp is something that's small. A big. They're called king banana prawns. The size of a banana.
Do they have claws?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we have some things called Moreton Bay bugs. It looks like a fucking alien, seriously, but very, very tasty. So
But what is it, like a lobster?
kind of it's in that secretion family.
Yeah.
Not secretion. You know
Uh,
what I'm talking. You know.
I don't. Crustacean.
Crustacean.
Yeah. I knew what you meant though.
You know what I meant though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because in Hawaii we say, oh, like fuck, we can go grab bugs, and that means we're gonna grab lobsters.
Yeah. When was the last time you went home, and have you been to where the fires were?
I haven't been home in over a year. The last time we were home was for my baby's first birthday. That was last October. But I am going home a week after Thanksgiving. Unfortunately for one of my closest friends, like my brother, for his grandma's funeral. She was like a grandma to all of us. But yeah, so it's her funeral. But no, she lived a long.
I was going to say, when they're grandmas and they've lived a long
Yeah.
time and they didn't go out in pain or they didn't lose their mind, it's kind of a little easier.
Yeah.
You know?
So it was crazy how it happened. So a couple weeks ago, as I told you, it was my daughter's birthday. So we took her to Disneyland to surprise her because she had been wanting to go. So we went out there the Monday before Halloween on the 30th for this thing, the Oogie Boogie Bash they do at Disneyland. It's pretty cool. But anyway, on that Monday, my friend, so he works for the airlines, and one of his friends had gotten a suite at the Lakers game. So the friend was like, bro, if you come up, which he flies for free, his friend was like, bro, if you come up, just come to the game. And he's like, okay, cool. And he's not a Lakers fan or anything, but he's like, fuck, check out on, like on Sweet, on big game. Like, that'd be pretty cool.
Fuck yeah.
So him and his wife went up. And then freaking when he got there, he got the call from his cousin that their grandma wasn't doing too well. So he called me. He was like, hey, bro, I just got this text message from Trey, his cousin. And I guess grandma not doing too well. She's getting, or she's 90. So
it's good innings. Good innings.
And she had just in this last year or so, she had to do a couple surgeries or whatever that was hard for her.
Mm-hmm.
And she was still fairly healthy, but just as you get old, you gotta do these things. And then so I guess her daughters had just decided enough. And she had said too, she's tired already. So I told him, I was like, ask Auntie Al when she's with grandma if it's okay if I call. And then so he's like, okay. So I actually called and I got to speak
to her?
Yeah, I got to speak to her. And I asked him, I was like, oh, you gonna go back early then? He was like, nah, we can go back first thing in the morning and should be fine. I was like, okay. And then anyway, I spoke to her, and one of the first things she was like, "Oh, hi, boy. I love you, miss you." Of course, asked about the girls, and then I just told her that just wanted her to know that I loved her and thank you for everything, for taking care of us when we were growing up. And then one of the things she told me freaking almost broke me. She's like, boy, I just tired already, and I was like, it's okay, grandma. It's okay, go rest. You deserve it already. Just rest. It's fine. Nobody gonna think you giving up or whatever. You older. And bro, within hours she passed away.
Yeah.
Yep. So
yeah. The spirit and the will is a lot stronger than people realize, right? Your will to live.
Yep. But I think I feel like once she just kind of spoke to all her family members and all of them was just like, no, it's okay. It's okay, grandma. We'd be fine. Then she just was like, okay, peacefully I can go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of old people like that, they want to know and speak to family first before they kind of, say goodbye. So yeah, that's very sweet. Yeah, your parents still here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So
you're pretty young. How old are you?
They live 35.
35.
So they live back in Hawaii. My mom will come up to visit every now and then. My dad not so much. But yeah, everybody, I would say everybody pretty much still around. My grandpa, but he was old too. He passed away some years ago. But yeah, everybody's still doing good.
You're blessed to still have everybody around. That's a good thing. Well, I'm sorry to hear about the grandma, but 90's great. And,
yeah, for sure.
We're all going to catch up on the other side if we do the right thing down here anyway. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be going, fucking talking about kids and Jesus and this and that. Can you ask him a couple of things at least about fighting? All right, you guys, I'm going to ask one thing. Was the game plan to go in there and kick the absolute shit out of Chris Weidman's legs? Was that the game plan from the beginning, just to go in there and just attack that leg?
Yeah.
No matter what?
100%. Especially when he came out and said something about right away he's going to throw a kick, this and that.
Yeah.
And I was like, challenge accepted.
Yep.
And everybody just highlighted it, but he kind of when I watched it back, when I finally seen it, he kind of said it like jokingly, hey, I'm gonna come out and throw a leg kick, don't check it or something. He told me, because he's such a great guy. We actually spoke all fight week, and he was kind of joking about it. But yeah, that's my game plan, or that was the game plan. Is get back to the kicks. I feel like the kicking is one of my greatest weapons, so just had to get back on it. And if, he went through something really traumatic, and regardless if it healed or not, there's only so much damage you can take. And even though it wasn't the leg that he broke that I was kicking, it's I was going to smash it one way or another.
I mean, talk about build up, right? Talk about anticipation for a fight. Talk about people wanting to see exactly what's going to happen in that first fucking 10 seconds, right? You had everyone from the UFC, some of the biggest names, talking about that fight during, after. Talk about wincing. When you watch a fight and you can feel it yourself, as a viewer, as a fan, when you're kind of having to even look away. It doesn't happen very often, but it happened during that fight. I could see how much pain the guy was in, and he tried switching stance, but it just wasn't making any difference. Do you think that should be Mike Chandler's game plan when he steps into the octagon with Conor? Do you think that's what he's going to do? He's going to try and attack that compromised leg?
I mean,
Or do you think he should?
I think he would be smart too. You know what I mean? Like that's a traumatic thing that they went through. But that being said, maybe that's something that Conor also sees. Like, oh, because I know he watched the fight. Obviously, China.
He was tweeting, and then I think he had a bit of an issue with you afterwards, didn't he? Called you an asswipe for what?
Yeah, I have no clue.
You don't have an issue with Conor?
I didn't, but I was
do
like,
now?
Yeah, nah, I don't have it now. I mean, that's why I said in after the presser when they told me about it, I was like, bro, he wants to like juice up, do whatever, fine. Like, just let me know where I gotta sign. I'm okay with that. He can be outside of USADA testing. We can fight at 185 since he's looking like 205 or something. He can be juiced to the gills. I don't care. Like, I would smash him anyway. But yeah, it would be smart on Chandler's part. But again, like even from seeing that and knowing that, oh, my opponent knows I have coming off of this, nasty leg break, maybe that's what they're expecting from Chandler. So we'll see what happens there.
How do you think that'll go? Personally, in your opinion, do you think Chandler's just like another Chad Mendes or like a?
Nah, I think Chandler is bigger, more explosive than Chad Mendes. But the thing about Chandler is like, I don't know what it is. Like, he'll get fucking excited, like, because I feel like if Chandler was just to go out there and wrestle him and, make it that kind of a ugly, dirty fight, kind of do what Khabib did to him, it'll go easily in his favor. But then whatever it is, like, that Chandler, like,
he's going to want to stand and bang with him, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a little bit crazy like that.
Is that an ego thing, or is that like a crazy thing?
Nah, I think that sometimes just in people, like,
especially against someone like Conor, right?
Yeah,
You're gonna want to...
I think, yeah, and especially if the bad blood is there, and maybe for Chandler, it's just one of those things that he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna go out on my shield, you know, like,
yeah.
It is what it is.
Here's another one. How did you survive that liver kick from Israel Adesanya in the first round and be able to continue after that? From everyone that I've spoke to, a liver shot is like you're completely winded, and then you lose kind of functionality of your body. How did you get through that? And that was with a kick too, right?
I don't think it hit the liver because I've been hit.
Okay.
I've been hit with a liver kick before. Chuck Liddell, it was the funniest thing. Like, he was teaching us this like short little. He's behind you. He was teaching us this short little. For those of you that don't know, I was on the Ultimate Fighter. I think that was season 10 or 11. Chuck versus Tito. I was on Chuck's team, but he was teaching us this little short spinning like back kick jab type thing, and when to use it and stuff in this. And I was thinking, bro, I ain't ever seen you throw one of those. I see you fucking just left, right. And then so anyway, we're sparring, and he threw something, and I pulled from it, and I came right back in to like counter him. And he fucking did it. He jumped, spin, and did this little just like donkey kick. And then it hit me, and I was like, oh. And then like literally like 1 to 2 seconds later, that liver, he hit me in the liver, and then it shut down. And I was like, oh.
And you can't recover if it's a full liver shot, eh? It's impossible.
No, I think I've been hit in the liver twice in my life. That was the second time. The first time, I was in high school, and one of my really good friends, he had an older brother. The brother was probably, we were 16. His brother was probably like 26, like 10 years older than us. And we were talking about like boxing and stuff. And then so I was like, he's like, oh, like I boxed with you guys. And, we was kind of scared of him. But I was like, okay, body shots only though. And he's like, okay, dude, he sank me with one of those. I was like, fuck. But he was a fucking grown ass man, and we were boys. I still laugh about that to this day.
So what hurt more, back fist by Dricus du Plessis or getting slammed by Yoel Romero?
I wouldn't say any of them hurt. Like, there's nothing. I don't think anything that I've ever been in a fight. Like, so even like against Izzy, I broke my arm in that fight, and I don't even recall breaking it. You know, like I wasn't even, when they took me later to get my eye stitched, I wasn't even gonna.
It's bad, that eye.
I wasn't even gonna go get it looked at, and my girl was with me, and it was swollen, and she was like, "We're here. You might as well just do it." So the doctor came back, and I was like, "Hey, you know, like I have this lump. Can we take a look at it?" Sure enough, they took an X-ray. I had fractured my ulnar. But yeah, like even in doing that, like nothing. I don't know. Maybe it's just the adrenaline.
You can't.
flowing.
It's like a painkiller,
Yeah.
adrenaline, right?
Yeah, because you don't feel it. Like,
And if I remember correctly, your eye had a little fucking. Your eyelid had a little flippy fucking bit of skin coming down. Was that fight, or maybe it was another one? Where you,
no, that was probably down because
Yeah.
that was like I've only had a
The
few
elbow?
big cuts. I think that was an elbow.
Yeah.
But it was a big cut because they stopped to look at it, but they let me continue. But yeah, you don't. Yeah, I think during the fight you don't ever feel any of that shit till like after. You
Yeah.
know, you don't
Yeah.
feel any of that until.
And then how long's all the pains in that? Like a week and a half?
Just depends. Cause like for instance, like when I fought Izzy, he fucking like, I had going into that fight, I had broke my foot prior, but I was like, fuck this. This is his main event. You know, big opportunity. I was like, at that time, Izzy was coming up and he thought he was the shit. So I was like, fuck that. I'm gonna fight this guy. So I went into that fight. I remember if you watch that fight, I barely kicked.
Yeah.
And my game plan was to go in there and like, I know he kicks, so I was like, I'm gonna kick him back. But I threw one kick in the first round and I hit him in his thigh and my foot hit his thigh and instantly my foot, like, it felt like, I was like, yep, I cannot fucking kick. So he kicked the shit out of my legs in that fight and I couldn't return the favor. But afterwards, yeah, I felt those leg kicks. My leg was fucking, but in the fight, none of those leg kicks affected me one bit.
Really?
Yeah, but that's, I think that's just the fucking adrenaline and heart, you know?
So who's out of all those top guys that you fought, who hits the hardest out of all of them? If you remember one guy, like, fuck, he hits like a truck.
None
really?
None that hit me. I mean, obviously I've been fucking knocked out in the past, so that guy, hits pretty hard. But like again, like nobody. I've never come. Even when people ask me like the wrestling side of Romero, they're like, "Oh, he's so strong, this and that." And I was like, even when I was in there with him, like I didn't like. Don't get me wrong, he's strong, but I've never been in there with anybody that I felt like, "Whoa, fuck!" Like this guy is like crazy strong.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. With Romero, what I was such in awe of was his fucking technique. Up until that point, I had never competed against anybody that had that wrestling pedigree, and I felt it in that fight.
Wow.
Like, I'm good at defensive wrestling, and I'm good at stuffing takedowns, and I can, I'm pretty athletic and whatnot, so I can defend. But, man, when we clinched up, I was like, okay, I'm ready for the first one. The second one I know is coming and possibly even a third. But he's fucking setting up like 4 and 5.
Yeah.
And just, he made it look like effortless, like a lot of the throws and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could feel his hips, the way it was moving under me. I was like, bro, like it made me want to train with him after that.
Wow.
Because how fucking good his wrestling is.
Yeah. So, like, what's your plans? Like, when are you fighting again? Do we have a date yet? Do we have an opponent?
Yes, and yes.
Can't talk about it yet?
Can't announce it yet, but I will be fighting in February.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Where will that be?
Here.
In Las Vegas?
Yeah, in Las Vegas.
T-Mobile, or will it be
Yeah.
Apex?
No, I believe it's the Apex, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we do this. I just want to do the AI thing real quick, Lana. So we do this thing. You into AI?
Nah, not really.
All right, so there's this new app that it's called Chat AI, and it pretty much you can ask it to ask you questions about. So we're going to pick a subject and we're going to get it to write a rap. So let's go a Hawaiian with leopard hair with a broken arm, and then you're going to rap it.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
I need a rap about a Hawaiian with leopard hair and a broken arm. Hang on. A rap about a Hawaiian with leopard hair and a broken arm.
Bro, how does...
Now it's doing it. It's calculating a rap. This will be an original too.
Okay. You know what blows my mind though? Like with all this fucking technology now, like kids could just get through anything. Like, can't you just tell AI write you an essay?
Yep.
And wouldn't it be an original?
No, there's There's ways to copyright that. So there's basically ChatGPT can look up if you were using ChatGPT in order to write your essay.
Oh, so they can
Yeah.
call
All right.
it.
Brad, you want to do a few verses?
Let's go. Okay, so it starts off with, sure, here's a rap about a Hawaiian with leopard hair and a broken arm. All right, verse 1, guys. Okay, so we gotta go. We'll do verse 1 and the chorus. Yo, listen, sure, here's a rap about a Hawaiian with leopard hair and broken arm. Verse, let me tell you. Yo, listen a story up about a Hawaiian with I got a style. Don't story you worried. Bro, this AI is trash to tell about a Hawaiian with style leopard hair. That's hard to wild. It's Excel. Lay a unique blendoperd hair. Wild. Rock and fierce. Rockin'. Rockin'. That's new. Rockin'. The scene with the broken arm. Scene. Never showing on the men any fear. And then it says chorus leopardess. Hawaii. They don't even fucking spell Hawaii right. It says Hawaii hair. Flowinian vibes. Palm trees. Leopard hair on swaying. Fleek. Hawaiian vibes through this party ain't playing highs with and lows. He's broken arm. He one of a kind. Unique. Widths. It says widths. With
doing
with
it
an S.
in a Hawaiian
Widths.
accent.
Still on a broken arm, his grind. He representing the Still Islands. One rhyme brings the heat. This island warrior's got the time, time rhythm on repeat. This is wild.
Hey, see, look how long that fucking thing is. There's like 3 songs in there.
But this is terrible.
I know, that was
This
pretty
shit
bad.
Don't even make sense.
Actually, you know what? Augie Augustine's rap was better last night. I will have to say that. Well, you know what? That's a new segment. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But we thought we'd try it out anyway. We might get a rap album by the end of the year. You never know. Hey, Brad, what's your fucking message, man?
My message? Fuck, I don't know. Show aloha always.
Hey.
That's it. Bro, I appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah,
That was
man.
fun.
I've been wanting to meet you for a while. I'm happy that I did. It was a nice little chat, and
Yep.
I feel like we'll do it again in the future for sure.
100%.
Thank you so much.
Sorry.
You want a sore hand?
No.
Well, we're just guys, today's episode is sponsored by Riz Pharma. What is Riz Pharma? RizPharma.com. So you can cut out that painful, annoying doctor visit. All FDA approved medication. You do an online consultation with a doctor on Zoom, right? And then they send all your medication to you discreetly. So if you've got ED, if you've got anal warts, something that you don't want to tell people about. Do you have those?
No.
I got one of them. Pick which one it is. RizPharma.com, and they'll be able to help you out with all of your male wellness needs. Guys, today's episode was shot here at the beautiful Sticky Paws Studios. Thank you, Lana, for engineering.
Of course.
Thank you, Brad, for coming on the show.
Always.
This is Marcus Deegan for the Marcus Deegan Show. We're out. Fuck yeah, bro.
That was fun.